Welcome back. We are we are looking like a pizza oven now. The dome is all finished, the brickwork anyway, and the front arch is done. Actually, looks like a proper pizza oven now. I'm absolutely chuffed with the way it's come out. Really, really happy. So I've finished off the remaining rows of bricks on the dome. It got trickier the higher I went up, so I ended up getting some little canes, little pieces of wood, and putting them in to hold the bricks up. Um, that was okay. It was quite fiddly. They kept falling down, so I'm sure there must be a better way of doing that. And then as we got to the last two rows, they really got tricky. So for them, what I did is I made a circular piece of plywood and stacked up a load of bricks inside with plywood on the top, and that just created a little platform for that last row or two just to lean on. That really, really did help. So big moment now. We're not quite completed the dome yet, but we've done everything that the Tremel tool, the indispensable tool, can do. So there we are. We've got a tiny little hole. I think the floor's in pretty good shape. There's a little cross where the indispensable tool was, but again, I think a bit of cleaning. If it comes to it, I can use a bit of sodium hypochlorite, something like that, just to bleach up the bricks, get them looking nice and shiny. Probably not new, but a little less dark. I do like the sort of weathered look on these. Looks a bit less pristine. Quite happy with that. The final bit, the final sort of keystone, so to speak, of the dome. I wasn't sure how to do that. I didn't know whether some people do a casted block, but I didn't want to do that because it kind of spoiled the inside look of all the bricks. The other way is doing tiny little bricks, and I didn't want to do that because that was probably going to be very fiddly and end up with a lot of mortar all messy inside. So in the end, I opted for I think there was four bricks sort of laid, so big sized bricks. So I wanted to keep the thermal mass as much as I could in terms of the bricks. So I put those in and then filled over the top with a lot of the mortar. A lot of the mortar, although I think I just used pure grog in that, so it was like a pure castable on top. And I'm really happy with the way that came out. I like the look, and we know nobody's going to see inside the dome, really. Nobody's going to look up at the ceiling of the dome, but it would annoy me. So I'm happy with the way that came out then. Last bit I've done over the last week is just this front arch. So the very small bricks, just 70 mil deep bricks on the front bit here. And that was easy enough to lay in. Kind of with the experience of doing the first arch, this one then became a lot quicker, a lot easier. Cut the bricks, got it all lined up, put the mould in, and I left it for about 30 minutes just to go off, and then I could remove the form and then just clean up on the underside with a damp sponge. And I'm more than happy with the way that came out. I thought I'd just show you a bit more about cutting the bricks as well. So I mentioned that in the last video that I just use an angle grinder to cut all four sides of each brick, split it open with the bolster and a hammer. And then I've been using one of these sort of diamond grinder bits. Absolutely brilliant thing that is that. I use that for dressing up the bricks. It just rips through the surface of the brick in no time, and you can just dress it down, and it gives you a nice sort of clean surface. And the last part for cutting the bricks really is making sure that you clean them afterwards. So once you've cut them, they're going to be covered in dust. And the last thing you want is to be mortaring them in with that dust on there, because then you're not going to get a decent adhesion with the mortar. So make sure that you give them a good clean with a bucket of water or a sponge and a hose pipe, just to get rid of all that dust. The mortar mix. So the mortar mix was one thing that stumped me for a long time. I was reading various places on the internet, and some people said use a homebrew mortar, and there was many different recipes of that, and other people were saying just get a bag of refractory, it's a word I can't say, refractory cement. Just get a bag of pre-made stuff and just mix it up with water. I didn't want to do either of those things when I came across this cement fondue, because it's used by sort of people making statues and things like that. It's set rock hard, and it also has great properties for handling high temperatures. So what I'm doing here, it sounded absolutely perfect, and I know some other people have used it as well. I guess it's not so popular around the world. Maybe it's just a UK thing. It's quite easy to get hold of here in the UK. But that's worked out brilliantly. The mortar, although it's a little weird to work with, it's a little strange because I'm using this grog, so you get this gritty sort of texture to it. It's not as free flowing as a mortar that you'd create to lay some bricks. But you can still work with it. You just have to adjust the water for what you're doing. So I've been doing a slightly drier mix for these arches, and then a wetter mix where I want to sort of fill in gaps and let it flow a little bit more. But I'm very happy. Although I think you can get a white version, so it might be worse if you can get a white version rather than the black version, because the black version does make all the bricks go dark, which I don't mind. I don't mind, because these are reclaimed bricks, and this whole dome. I like the idea of it having a second life. So all of these bricks had a first life. They were all part of the nuclear power industry. They made graphite rods. So they've been in a kiln once, and they've already had a life, and now they're having a second life, making me pizzas and food, which is great. So I love the character that the cement brings out, but some other people might not like that, and maybe a lighter coloured mortar would help keep your bricks cleaner. Just a thought. So with the mortar mix, like I said in the previous video, I've gone with a 2-part grog, fire brick grog, 2 parts washed sand, 1 part cement fondue. That's my recipe. It's sort of following the rough guidelines that come with the cement fondue bag that says a 4-to-1 mix. The fire grog that I've been using is 5 ml mixed fire grog, so it's like various particle sizes up to 5 ml in size, which is great. I mean, you can see the sort of texture of it here on the front, and I quite like that. And it was kind of a balance of, I didn't want it to be pure grog, because then it's a bit too sort of gritty. So I think the 2 fire brick grog and then the 2 of the washed sand is sort of enough just to make it moldable, and it's worked quite well. It's taken a little bit of experimentation, but I think we've finally figured out a good mix. So we need 2 parts grog and 2 parts sand. I've used a washed silica sand, and then give them a good mix up. And it seems easier just do it with your hands. There we go. So there's 2 parts 5mm grog, 2 parts washed silica sand. And finally 1 part cement fondue. So there's no water in at this point. There's just, the sand was wet, the grog was dry, but I think there's enough moisture in there to start the process going. There we go. And now it's all turned into a deep brown, sort of blackish, almost blackish colour. So we are heading into winter again now. This is about year 3 that I've been on this project. So the first year was a lot of planning, designing, and thinking of ideas, and then year 2 we designed and built the gazebo, and that was a great project. And then year 3, which is this year, we've if you remember, we started the year back in the spring and we laid the concrete slab. And actually, sorry, we did the concrete slab the year before. We started with the stand. We did the bricks for the stand, and we cast the top here, and then obviously started the oven build. I'm hoping to get one more video out this year, in which case we'll cast the flue gallery, because I want to use the remainder of the cement fondue. So in all, so far we've used 2. Well, I used 1 bag, and then we've used perhaps a quarter of another bag so far. So I think a bag and a half is probably what you'll need to do this whole project. So I'm just going to use, I'm going to do a big castable block here, sort of shaped, and then I'll put the base plate for the flue on top, and that'll probably be it this year. I'll then wrap it up for winter, for when the snow comes. And then I'll source the pot, and then I think next job next year, or if the weather's good, maybe this year, but then we'll get the flue in and we'll punch a hole up through the roof. And once we've done that, we can do our first sort of firing and start our curing fires. A bit risky to do those now. Having a wooden structure above it, I wouldn't want to take that risk. So I'll wait till we get the flue in first, and then I think that'll be a big event, getting the first fire lit in there. That'll be awesome. Right, we'll finish this video here. Almost there, almost got the inner skeleton of the oven done. I'm so pleased with the way it's going so far, and I'll see you on the next video.